Good evening, fellow hose drinkers. It is November 29th, 2023. It is 7:47. Yes. 7:47 p.m. And it is conference championship week in college football. The NFL playoff race is getting heated up. Basketball is getting into full swing. Very exciting stuff to get to today. We got all the normal segments. We got a chaos theory. We're going to have a little history session. That's going to be pretty exciting with the man Coop. But, per the usual, we start with our song of the day. What is your song of the day today?
Song of the day is Them Things Day, D-E-H, by Eni Kamoze. Little reggae music, kind of Bob Marley kind of style. Found it the other day. Spot on if you're into reggae music.
Old JB played it for us before the show started. It bangs. It bangs. It's pretty good.
Pause.
No, dude, I will confidently say that a song bangs. I'm not pausing on that one. But I have to pause for this song title because it is Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang by Silver.
Dude, that is a great song.
Dude, such a good song.
Bam, Shang-a-Lang.
Dude, love that one. All right, well.
That is a Jay Reeves special, dude.
Jay Reeves likes the Shang-a-Lang?
Jay Reeves showed me that song the other
Hell yeah.
Like when we were still living together, like last spring. Damn good song.
Damn good song.
You got a wham, bam, Shang-a-Lang. Dude, so no right answer this week. The right answer
He's on temporary suspension.
is on temporary suspension. He's been taking too many PEDs, so we have to reel him back. So, right, if you're listening, get off the PEDs, brother, and start calling in.
I heard that he's been off the hose water, and that's why things are all out of whack.
Probably. That usually kind of coincides with taking PEDs. I mean...
Well, dude, you can trace so many just issues in people's life back to the amount of hose water that they're drinking.
Yeah, no kidding. I went outside this morning. I was letting dog out, letting little River out. It was about 6:15, 6:30, somewhere in there. And I was like, man, I'm a little parched, you know? I need something to drink. And
how did you rectify that?
well, I thought, I got this ice cold Gatorade in the fridge, and I was like,
nah, that's not going to hit the spot.
Screw that. Let me just go out back. Turn on that hose water, man. Got me a nice little gulp of hose water this morning, dude. Starting off the day right.
All right, I got a big question for you here. How do you feel about drinking directly from the spigot if you don't have a hose?
That's fine.
Because, sometimes we'll move the hose to the front yard, and I'll walk outside. I'll be like, the spigot's sitting right there just looking at me.
Still the same water.
Yeah.
Still the same water. If you're in, Houston County like we are, got great quality water coming from the faucet,
the
man.
tastiest hose water.
I think probably up there the tastiest might be Bullitt County water.
Now, taste, questionable. Vitamins and nutrients, unmatched.
It's like, what is that thing that everybody's like, loves Joe Rogan for? Not
Elk meat?
No, that, but what? I'm thinking of this thing. It's AG1.
Oh, yeah.
AG1. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So screw the AG1. I think it's like a little powder mix that you put in water and like mix up.
What does it do?
It's supposed to give you all your like vitamins and nutrients you need to like start your day off.
Dude, I already get that.
Hose water, baby. I mean, come on. So, little general discussion. It's been a while since we had
It has been a while,
man. It's been 2 weeks.
It has been 2 weeks. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to little belated happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a good time. I personally had a good time. Had a couple days off of work. How about yourself?
Well, I pretty much work online, so
Yeah. Well,
I do what I want.
yeah, you're lucky. So, I don't. But, yeah, man, I mean, a lot's happened in the last 2 weeks. Georgia beating Ole Miss, then beating Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern dropping both games to ODU and App State. And, man, It's a hell of a weekend for football the last 2 weeks.
That was, especially this past weekend, rivalry weekend went crazy.
Thanksgiving Day football was awesome, dude. Enjoyed watching football on Thanksgiving this year. Really did.
Dude, did you see the stat about the moon phase and the Lions and the Packers on Thanksgiving Day?
Yes.
So, all right, I could get this wrong. My grandma would know this, but waning gibbous is the moon becoming full, and I believe that waxing gibbous is the moon going out of a phase.
I believe so.
And I think that it is waning gibbous when that current moon phase is up. The Lions have not beat the Packers on Thanksgiving Day since like the 60s.
Yeah.
And it happened again on Thanksgiving Day this past week. Waning gibbous, dude, is the Lions' kryptonite.
Old Cisco had the Lions, too. Oh, do you know what we forgot to mention? Dude. Group of Five Guys. Everybody go listen to the Group of Five Guys. Great podcast. Y'all need
Great
to watch that.
podcast. Hose drinkers. We love those guys over there. They sent us these very cool sweatshirts. Hopefully we can return the favor one day.
Yeah, once we get some merch.
We're going to get some merch, dude.
What you got for general?
Well, I just want to talk about a couple of the college football games. We'll start with the Iron Bowl, man. Did you watch that one?
Oh, did I, man? Me and Dylan Rosado watched the end of that game together, man.
That was another classic ending in such a storied and traditional rivalry. That last play, dude, you got 4th and goal from the 31.
And they rushed two?
And they rushed two?
At
and
least rush
Milroe?
4.
They spied him. That is a testament to Jalen Milroe's legs and how much they respected his ability to scramble because they spied him on the 31-yard line when he had to score a touchdown.
4th and goal from the 31, which is absurd to hear.
And, dude, it's not like he threw the ball up, it was tipped and then caught or something like that, or somebody made an unreal one-handed catch.
It was a dart.
That was a dart,
Dude.
but the dude was open. How do you drop 8 guys into coverage and have an
man.
open guy in the end zone?
Well, my problem is if I'm sitting there, of course, I'm sitting here at the time sitting on a couch watching the game. So, of course, I'm nowhere near qualified to be a college football coach. But if I'm that coach, I'm not sending 2 people, man. Send at least 4. In my opinion.
I'm sending 4. I'm putting Milroe under a little bit of pressure.
Maybe 5
And
if you're feeling like you want to roll the dice.
I'm putting 7 dudes strategically placed across the end zone.
Yeah, maybe like your tallest wide receiver or something, like the Falcons did it with Julio Jones a couple times. Like, remember the Miami Miracle?
Yeah,
Pats
they had
put
Gronkowski
Gronk
back there.
there and he missed the tackle. Like, you got to have somebody like that back there too. And that defensive back for Auburn, like, force him out of bounds. Like, do something, dude. Like, you're just sitting there like, where the hell am I, dude? Yeah. Yeah, at least get the penalty because you at least have another chance to stop them. Dart, though, dude.
That was a dart.
Hell of a pass. My one thing I do have to criticize on Milroe is, though, after the game, he was like, hand me the Heisman, hand me the Heisman. Come on, bud.
No.
Come on, bud.
No,
He's a great quarterback, though, so no disrespect to him.
he is a great quarterback, but Jaden Daniels deserves the Heisman this year.
I hope
If you're going by the best player in college football this year, it has been Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for LSU. I am getting strong vibes of the 2009 Heisman season when Trent Richardson won it for Alabama, and Toby Gerhart was the running back for Stanford. He had better stats across the board in every category, and he lost out on the Heisman because of team success.
Yeah. Which is... I don't agree with it, but that is how, they weigh it, unfortunately.
And so if you're going by that weight, it's probably going to be Bo Nix. But if you're doing by the best player in college football, the dude that has had the best season, it is
Jaden
Jaden.
Daniels. I feel like, either way, without Oregon's success, Bo Nix is definitely my runner-up, regardless of that.
Yeah, he's been great this year.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Bo Nix has really kind of jumped himself into the conversation as a legit first-round draft pick, in my opinion.
I think he has too.
I think Bo Nix is going to be a legit NFL quarterback.
I still think there's going to be a crazy amount of quarterbacks coming off the board in the first round.
And Drake May is going to be the biggest bust out of all of them.
The biggest bust out of all of them,
Out of the quarterbacks.
I think, biggest bust out of all the quarterback prospects in this class. Maybe J.J. McCarthy. I don't see it with that dude.
Okay. Fair. That's fair.
He's been consistently getting mocked in the first round, and I don't see his game translating in the NFL that well.
See, the only reason I kind of left him out is because I don't see him as a first-round draft pick.
Okay, that's fair.
Personally. I mean, if you're talking about like as a whole, out of the hype surrounding him, yeah, probably J.J. McCarthy.
Where do you stand on Quinn Ewers?
He is coming back for Texas for another year. I think he already did announce that.
Oh.
But I think Quinn Ewers is a stud. Honestly, do I think he's going to be a bust in the NFL? No. But obviously, he hasn't even played a snap in the NFL. He's coming back for another year of college. The only question mark is his health. Mm-hmm. Can he stay healthy?
He has had a bad injury past.
That is the only thing for me.
Now, I don't think anything's been announced one way or the other, but where do you stand on Carson Beck as a draft prospect? In your most objective opinion.
I would say right now, NFL teams aren't looking at him as a first-round draft pick, but once he has like a pro day combine, I think he's a late first-rounder personally. Do I think he's going to be a guy that's going to start right away? No. But if he sits behind a quarterback for a year or so and takes over and actually learns the offense, I feel like that's going to help him out a lot because you see what he did at Georgia, sitting behind Stetson and truly learning the offense, and look what he's doing right now. Mm-hmm. He's just, some of these quarterbacks in the NFL, they jump him in right early. Like, you get rare things like C.J. Stroud happening. That's the only guy to win MVP as a rookie was Jim Brown, I'm pretty sure. And, I mean, you look at Bryce Young. He is in a shitty situation in Carolina, though, number one. But they jump him in and just be like, all right, go win us, go take us to the playoffs. Like, it just doesn't really happen for a rookie quarterback. So I feel like with Carson Beck, sit there, develop, learn the offense, calm down, get settled in some preseason games, maybe some late regular season games. I think he could be a good quarterback, but just not a day one starter.
I'll agree with that one. Dude, this is not gonna come across right at first, but just bear with me. Carson Beck gives me shades of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor has a better deep ball. Trevor has better legs. Yeah. Trevor has a better frame because he's a little bit taller.
Yeah.
But the way that both of those dudes throw intermediate passes, when I say intermediate, I mean like 10 to 19 yards or so across the middle and to the sidelines, just reminds me so much of each other. They're both mobile, but not run-first guys and not the strongest arms in the world.
The mobility in the pocket is huge, dude. Yeah. Especially when you come in the SEC championship against Alabama. Alabama's going to bring it. They got one of the best pass rushes in college football right now.
He's going to be under pressure, under fire constantly on Saturday. More rivalry weekend games. Ohio State lost to Michigan for the third time in a row. That was a very good game.
I can't stand Ohio State, man.
I do not care for Ohio State either. Kentucky toppled Louisville. That was a really good game.
Shout out Alex Rayner. He went, I think, 5 for 5 on PATs and maybe 2 and 2 on field goals.
Dude, yeah.
He had a big game, man.
He did have a big game. FSU took down Florida. That was a very close game. I think it was 24-15 was the final, but I felt like the score was a little bit bigger than what the actual game was. Of course, Georgia wins 31-23 over Georgia Tech. We'll get into a little more dogs talk as we go down the road. Anything else from rivalry weekend?
Me and Dylan watched the Clemson game together. That was a hell of a football game, too. It was a little bit of a snooze fest. The only offensive touchdown Clemson had was on the very first play of the game, scoop and score. But, no, man, I thought Rodemaker looked good for FSU, too, coming in there for Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gruesome injury, too, by the way.
Oh, that was tough.
Man, did you see Zach Zinner or something, like a guard for Michigan? Did you see that injury?
Was it the Achilles?
Nah, man, somebody fell right on his leg and snapped that shit in half.
Jeez.
Yeah, same kind of injury, but yeah, it was nasty too.
I was thinking of somebody else that popped their Achilles. Maybe that was an NFL guy.
It was the guy from the Dolphins.
Oh, yes, 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 it
Yeah,
was.
against the Jets, dude. That is now the third Achilles torn on the Jets turf.
MetLife Stadium, man.
It's the turf. We talked about it a long time ago when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it now. There's so many injuries that happen on turf. I mean, we could go on for days about why there needs to be real grass in every single stadium.
Yeah.
Or at least better turf.
I'm still real grass guy all the way.
Oh, no, I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. Dogs?
A couple more notes before we jump straight into dogs. The Hoop Dogs are 9.5-point underdogs versus FSU tonight. Georgia is 3-3 on the year in basketball, which they've played several good teams. I really like the direction that Mike White has things going in Athens. The Hawks are 8-9. Truthfully, guys, sorry if y'all are big basketball fans. Basketball for me starts after the Super Bowl.
No, I'm 100% with you. Really, basketball starts for me when March Madness occurs.
You just get in that like February and I'm just itching for some sports.
Yeah.
And I'll watch some college basketball and
Baseball hasn't
NBA.
started yet.
Yeah.
For sure. Georgia Southern basketball, I think they're 0-6, 0-7. Bad loss last night to Michigan State, but Michigan State is a very good basketball program. To look ahead for Georgia Southern basketball, new head coach came in with really nothing, man.
Yeah.
It's going to take time for him to develop and get his guys in. So we'll see. It's still early, like we said. And once we get into some legit conference play, we'll really see how this team is. Same with Georgia.
That's
Same with
always where you figure out what a college basketball team is made of when they get into conference play.
Such a long
in
season.
December and January. But, yeah, so we can jump straight into some Georgia Bulldogs talk. 31-23 win over Georgia Tech. Bit of an ugly game. Georgia was missing a lot of guys. Had Ra Thomas out, Tate Ratledge, Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey. Some of those guys, they probably shouldn't have gone. Some of those guys were probably precautionary to rest them up for Alabama coming up this week. Georgia is
especially Brock and Ladd.
Yeah, Georgia's currently, I have them at 6, but I think it's down to 5.5 now.
I think so too.
Point favorite over number 8 Alabama on Saturday for the SEC Championship. 3:30 on CBS. Gary Danielson, Brad Nessler, per the usual. Georgia fans, pause, take a beat, enjoy where the hell we are right now. 29-game win streak, 3 consecutive undefeated regular seasons, 2 national championships,
dude.
about to play for their 3rd consecutive SEC championship. Dude, do not take this shit for granted. There is a Georgia fan on Twitter that every week he tweets out what will have to happen this weekend for Georgia fans to be satisfied. And people will go in there and comment and say, Carson Beck needs to throw for 350. We need to cover the spread. We got to only give up 10 points. Blah, 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 blah. And I think to myself, every single time I see that tweet, as long as Georgia wins.
Why are Georgia and Georgia Southern fans very similar on, like, expectations of just, like, perfection on every single aspect of the game, and that's not how football works?
Because Georgia Southern fans, prior to coming to the FBS, had expectations of excellence.
Yeah, and
it's going to take a while to get to that kind of level again in the FBS. And then now Georgia fans have those expectations currently, where a national championship is the expectation. And Georgia fans, there's going to come a year here in the next several where Georgia's going to
make the playoffs.
Georgia's going to go 10-2, and they're not going to make the playoffs, and they're going to go to a Sugar Bowl, and they're going to beat Texas Tech in a Sugar Bowl, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, this was a throwaway season." Blah blah blah. No, dude, no.
10-2.
Whatever it is. I said this to myself when I saw Georgia win the 2nd national championship. I said, I will not expect this every year, and I will not be one of those guys that is calling a season a failure if we didn't win a national championship.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if you don't win the national championship this year, how is this season a failure? Even if you lose on Saturday.
Even if you lose on Saturday, dude.
3 undefeated seasons in a row? Nick Saban didn't even do that.
Exactly, dude. Just learn to appreciate what we have going on, and don't become like an Alabama fan. Alabama fans have been so spoiled And
Cooper.
sorry, Coop, I'm not talking about you here. Chandler Hill, I'm not talking about you either.
No,
You
we're
guys
talking about you, chill.
You guys
We're
have
talking about
realistic expectations. But, dude, so many Alabama fans that I know, if they don't make the playoff, if they don't beat Georgia, if they don't win the Natty, then the season is a bust. Just throw it away, fire all the coordinators, blah, blah, blah. People forget how difficult it is to win consistently and keep your team in the playoff race. So, all that to be summarized, just appreciate where we are. Don't forget to slow down, smell the roses. Now, on to Alabama. No need to beat around the bush. Jalen Milroe's legs, biggest threat.
Yes.
That is what will kill Georgia if Georgia loses on Saturday. He throws the deep ball up there with the best of them. I think he's got like a 97.9 PFF grade on throws of 20-plus yards.
Really?
Which is the best in the country far and away.
Well, Georgia's got a great secondary, too. So, like you said, trying to keep him in the pocket is going to be difficult, and trying to force him to make a big play and trying to create that turnover is going to be huge. But if you let him on his feet, it's going to be a long day for Georgia.
It is, and my take on Milroe is that he is a pocket passer by nature, but he's uber athletic.
Yeah.
I think the dude wants to throw first, but
Saban definitely wants him to throw first, obviously.
After all of the praises I've been singing, there are vulnerabilities in his game, and specifically that comes on intermediate throws. The guy struggles, especially over the middle of the field. I might not have the exact numbers right, but I believe that throws in between the hashes, 10 to 19 yards, he has like a 48.1 PFF grade, which is awful for those of you that are unfamiliar with PFF grades.
My question is for you, I've always kind of wondered this, how does PFF do the gradings? Like, how is that calculated?
So there are several different processes that are all compiled together and then ultimately reviewed by another panel of people, and that's where they come up with the grades. So when you see a PFF grade, somebody got a 90.0, let's just say, for example, Carson Beck goes out there on Saturday, shows out, has a great game, has a 90.0. There are probably 7 to 8 people that will be working different processes for that game, for the SEC championship. So I used to do this a couple of years ago, and I would do either player participation or base data, and I would record, say Carson Beck drops back, I would record how far his drop back was, what formation he was in, where he threw the ball, where the receiver was, where the receiver caught it, where the tackle happened, all these different plot points on a graph. And you couple that with a couple other processes, it's sent up to somebody who reviews it, and they come up with the grades. It's kind of tough for me to explain because, truthfully, I don't fully understand it 100%. But if you go on PFF's website and look at how they do their grades, it makes a lot more sense.
I enjoyed their grades, man. I think they're very useful.
I love their grades when they fit my narrative.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And people can make up excuses for here and there, but we're really going to get into some excuses later.
But I will say, for those of you that think that there is bias put into it, there are too many people working on it, and there are too many just objective factors that are baked into the grades. There's no bias in it. It is as unbiased as it gets. So, but
for sure.
Yes, if I see Georgia players with a high grade, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And then if I see a Florida player with a high grade, I'm like,
yeah, they suck.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You got anything else for the Dogs? Are we still on it?
Dude, game total's at 54.5 or so. I don't know if that's changed from yesterday. I'm expecting a high-scoring affair. Dude, something like 42-40 could be the final on this one. I think both teams are going to score a lot of points. I don't know, man.
What's your number one key for Georgia offensively?
Offensively, Carson Beck's got to take care of the football. That sounds blatantly obvious. Every single time you do a prediction and you say you got to win the turnover battle. But I mean, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Got to take care of the football, and I want to see how Georgia answers. That is
coming from like an Alabama touchdown to
yes. If Georgia goes down
14-0 or something.
14-0, 21-10, something like that, how do they respond?
It's a good point because I mean they've let up early touchdowns throughout the course of the season. So and if you can't let up early touchdowns at this point
Alabama's
without
going to score.
responding.
Alabama's going to score on the first drive.
Yeah, I could 100% see that.
It's happened like 4 or 5 games in a row now.
But my point being is like what you just said is how do you respond after something like that? You know, and throughout the course of this year, they've obviously done a really good job. But now it's SEC championship. Now you're looking for a college football playoff. How do you respond against those teams, against the best teams in college football? Because we all know Alabama might be number 8, but everybody knows they're a top 5 team in college football.
Yep.
No question about that. And if Alabama wins, they're in. So, you know, Bama's going to be coming out there giving it everything they have, just like Georgia is. So, like you said, it's the ability to respond when you're down in a hole.
I do believe with my whole heart this is an elimination game.
For both teams, yes.
SEC's not getting 2 teams in.
No.
And I do think that if Alabama wins this game, there is a path for them to be left out.
We're not going to get into that. There's a lot of mathematical things that could fucking happen. Damn it. What is it? That's number 6, dude.
Is that number 6?
Golly.
That might only be number 5.
I mean, it might be 7. I don't know.
We've lost track. Oh, shit.
Damn it.
All right. Well, we're trying our best.
Yeah, that one just kind of slipped. So Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
You want me to even it out?
Yeah, you know what? Why not?
Fuck Bama.
Yeah. You know what? Pops, I'm sorry if you're listening. I know you like listening to the podcast. I'm sorry. You don't like it when we drop F-bombs, so I apologize. Dude, so yeah, I think dogs win, but it's going to be a tight ball game, man.
I don't like -6, that's for sure.
I don't either. I think it's going to come down to a field goal, just like we saw against Ohio State last year. It's gonna come down to the last minute. Who's going to have the ball last?
It will probably be one of those games. Who has the ball last?
Yeah. Got anything else on the dogs? Or anything else SEC wise?
I guess I'll kind of elaborate what I meant if Alabama wins, that the SEC could be left out. If Michigan, Washington, Florida State all win their respective conference championships, there's your top 3. No questions asked.
Texas.
If Texas wins with style, they cover the spread against Oklahoma State, I don't see how you put in Alabama over Texas.
Oh, especially with Texas winning in Tuscaloosa. I'm pretty sure we were talking about that 2 weeks ago when we were doing Chicken Coop with Cooper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I firmly believe that, you know, this is a win and get in scenario, pretty much. And I don't see Texas winning by a lot of points this weekend.
I think Okie State plays them close.
I 100% agree, and I mean, it's the SEC championship, man. That's what this game is made for. The winner of the SEC championship is going to be in that college football playoff, and I think we're in a good situation where we're not going to see 2 SEC teams, and I personally like it.
Definitely not 2 SEC teams, and definitely not Ohio State either. And Pac-12 is not getting 2 in.
It would be great to see not see Alabama 2 years in a row in the playoff.
Yeah,
I mean, after, you know, since it was created, Alabama was in it every year except last year. So,
I have a good trivia question for you.
Okay.
I hope you haven't seen this yet. 'Cause
Okay.
That would ruin my mojo. Past 8 national championships have all featured a quarterback
from the state of Georgia high school.
that played high school football in the state of
It
Georgia.
goes back to Deshaun Watson and then Trevor, Justin
Yeah.
Fields, Stat.
All right. Well, those of you that don't know,
Yeah.
there's 5 total. Stetson times 2.
Deshaun times 2, Trevor's times 2.
Yeah, and then Justin Fields and Jake Fromm. All those guys played high school football in the state of Georgia. Still a crazy fact, though.
Yeah, man. I mean, no kidding. You got 2. You got 1 middle Georgia boy, 1 South Georgia boy being Stet, and you got 2 guys. Where's Deshaun from? Because Trevor's from around Atlanta.
Now I've forgotten where Deshaun Watson played. There's not going to be a quarterback from Georgia in this playoff, regardless of who makes it.
I was about to say Carson Beck, but he's from Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Deshaun's from Gainesville, so
that's right.
Atlanta area, at least general area. But Yeah, dude. Interesting stat. So yeah, that's not going to happen this year, regardless of who wins the SEC championship. So
Yeah, so this will break the streak. All right.
that is crazy, though, man.
Georgia high school football is so good. So
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody says Texas and California. Of course, Texas, California. But if you look at the different sizes of the states and the number of just public schools, or private schools, doesn't matter. If you look at the number of students they have, I mean, if you look at some of these schools out in Texas, man, you're graduating with 2,500 people. Georgia, you don't really see that a whole lot.
Except for like select 7A schools.
Yeah, for real. But Texas, California, it's such a big state, man. There's so many cities. Georgia's just much smaller.
Per capita, Georgia might be the best in the country at putting out,
If
high school
not
talent.
top two.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I 100% agree. But it's crazy. I mean, even just knowing who Jake Fromm was when we were little kids and watching him grow and knowing Stetson's story and how crazy that is, and seeing Trevor coming out of high school and then into college. I don't even really remember Deshaun Watson in high school, honestly. I just kind of
I remember him getting passed over by Mark Rick.
Well,
Dude, right down the street from Athens, Georgia, wasn't recruited.
wasn't recruited. Didn't even offer him.
They may have offered him, but I mean,
But probably late after Clemson
Yeah.
and all these other schools offered him, just trying to
dude,
get on that.
did you know
little train.
that Jake Fromm played in the Little League World Series?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I mean, doesn't everybody in Middle Georgia know that by now?
I couldn't help myself. They mentioned it every single time that he played.
What did they call him? The man child? Because he was like 6 feet tall at 12 years old.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Dude, he was so athletically gifted at a young age.
Dude, I remember going to a Houston County Warner Robins game when Jake was a senior and Marquez Callaway was playing for Warner Robins. Dude, you would have
Yeah,
thought...
Darian Anderson was a beast too.
Yeah, you would have thought that you were watching a small-time college game. I mean,
yeah.
dude, every single seat in that stadium was packed. People were outside the fences, watching over the chain link fence. People were standing in the end zones. There had to have been 5,000
Dude,
people.
I went to the Perry Hoko game at the beginning of this year, and it was the exact same way, dude. And you want to talk about a stud? Hoko's quarterback right now,
Antoine Hill Jr.,
bro.
he's so good.
Committed to Colorado, right?
Just decommitted.
He was one of those quarterbacks that decommitted.
Yep, they lost. Colorado lost their quarterback
shit.
in 24 and 25.
Fun fact: Statesboro High School has got 2 kids committed to Colorado.
Really?
I just had a defensive back commit there. Ooh, speaking of D-backs, Georgia Southern just had this 6'3" corner commit on Thanksgiving Day.
6'3" corner is crazy.
Yeah, 6'3" corner. I think 190, something like that. So a little bit of a Sauce Gardner build. 3-star, I think out of South Carolina, maybe. I very well could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But watch this huddle because I saw him commit just on Twitter and stuff. So I was like, oh, let me check out this huddle, bro.
Legit?
I think, I'm not saying day one starter, but he's going to be a day one player, in my opinion.
Sweet, dude. I am looking forward to...
I was pretty amped about that one, man.
Maybe we hit a little dead zone in the middle of December with not too much football going on, do a little recruiting talking.
Oh, yeah.
After
Yes.
early signing day?
Signing day might be the 20th? Might be the 20th.
I'm not sure.
I need to check with my brother on that one. He would obviously know. But yes, even if we just have a whole episode of just Georgia Southern and Georgia recruiting, let's do it. We can just make that the episode of the week,
Yeah, we'll do that. Y'all keep an eye out for that.
So Georgia Southern, man, I mean, you kind of tagged on about how fans expect really high expectations, and like you said, it's hard to win college football games, especially right now with the transfer portal and all of that stuff. I mean, you got to have some cash if you want the number 1, number 2 players in college football, and even coming out of high school or transfers, and all these Georgia Southern fans on Twitter. Yes, adjustments need to be made, but Kirby Smart's sitting in his office right now saying adjustments need to be made. Nick Saban saying the exact same thing. Every college football team needs to make adjustments. Yes. But we did not have a bad season, in my opinion, as a whole. You had a bad November. Yes. But 4 straight losses, 6-2, and then you lose four straight, finish at 6-6, right? We only had 4, maybe 5 turnovers in those 4 losses, and 3 of them came against App State. So I mean, if you, I think the number is 6 because I think Davis threw 2 picks against Texas State. O.J. Arnold had a fumble against ODU, and he threw 3 picks last Saturday. But still, man, like it's Davis. I love you, man. Like you're my quarterback, dude. Like another one. Fuck all these people talking shit on you, man. Like Coach Helton, you too. Like I love y'all to death, and I'm fully trusting the process. And 6-6 is like I said, you just had a bad month. It is what it is. It's college football. But in my opinion, so Helton took over a 3-win ball team, right? I think 6-6 last year, you kind of exceeded expectations, in my opinion, of making a bowl game and going 6-6. So I feel like this year, I think probably at the beginning of the year, I probably said 7-8 wins, but I think 7 was really like my number. So, dude, you're 6-6, you're making a bowl game, man. You just had a bad month. Like, a season as a whole is not, like, why would you just throw it away? Like, you still got to play in this bowl game. I think they're really looking at either the Cure Bowl or either Myrtle Beach Bowl, which is in Coastal Carolina Stadium. And a big one for me, Boca Raton Bowl. I feel like that'd be a good one to go to.
That would be pretty cool. The projection I saw was the Cure Bowl versus Boise State.
Yeah, I saw that too, but that was prior to Boise State getting in the conference championship game. And they fired their coach, and they're in their conference championship game right now.
That's crazy.
Like, it's abysmal of how, like, a short leash some of these guys have. And this is what Georgia Southern fans want us to do. And why would you give Clay Helton a short leash? This guy has had, okay, technically this is going to be his 3rd recruiting class because he takes over middle of the season after Lunsford got fired. You didn't really have your recruiting class. So this is really going to be his 2nd one. Man, it's only going to go up from here, man. I mean, I'm really, of course, I'm optimistic, you know what I mean? But I'm really just, you got to trust the process, man. You can't just jump to conclusions, man. Like, was Georgia calling for Kirby Smart's head after that first year?
No.
When Georgia lost to Vanderbilt, like,
at home.
Yeah, like, no kidding. Like, was Alabama fans like, I know this is a different, kind of thing we're talking about here because, I mean, we're talking about Kirby Smart, you know what I mean? Back-to-back national champion, but at the end of the day, like, dude, you're 500. I mean, you exceeded expectations in year 1, like I said, but this year's not a wash, man. You still got one more to ball out for and finish 7-6.
You still got one more to ball out for. I think that going bowling was a big deal for Coach Helton in his 2nd year. Dude, yeah, I just feel like college football fans in general, not even just Georgia Southern fans, are so quick to write off the coach because they see guys like Dabo Swinney come in and have relative immediate success. Nick Saban, year 2 is playing for national championship. Kirby Smart, year 2 is playing for national championship. Those are such isolated events that do not happen in college football.
JMU losing 2 games last year and lost 1 game this year.
Yeah.
Just in the first 2 years in FBS, like, that doesn't happen at all.
That does not happen. Those are such rare instances that people unfairly compare their programs to. And then you have coaches getting punted on after 2 to 3 years. Dude, I don't think that now if Georgia Southern comes out and wins 5 games next year, then yes, questions should be asked.
For sure.
But also, let him get his guys on there. Yeah. He's still dealing with a lot of transfers. He doesn't have 4, good recruiting classes of his dudes that he has handpicked.
Especially in the trenches, too. From switching to the wing tee kind of whatever shit that Lunsford was running to now, like, in my opinion, I went to the majority of games this year. And I think that size-wise, majority, 75% of the teams that we played this year were bigger than us. I think, actually, I take that back. all of them in the trenches were bigger than us except Citadel, maybe UAB, and Ball State. Every single other team in the conference is bigger than us on the O-line. Now, do I think we have some guys that can, play some football on the offensive line? Yeah. Defense line needs some work. But in the trenches, man, that's where the battle's won. And we see that with Troy right now. JMU, like, they got 2 guys that are leading the nation in sacks. Like, you got to have somebody like that. I think that is key. We got great skill players, in my opinion. You're losing Caleb Hood, unfortunately. He's going to the NFL draft. And, speaking of Caleb Hood, broke his own single season reception mark. He's got 94 catches on this year, broke his own record, single season.
That's tough.
Yeah,
Breaking
dude.
your own record's got to be up there with, like, just coolest things ever.
Dude, catches and yards in Georgia Southern history and broke his own record in catches.
A true hose drinker.
Dude, I think he's all-time catches, single season catches twice, and single season reception yards. Just doesn't have a touchdown.
God, breaking your own record is so cool.
Dude, Hood's a beast, man. But a guy to look out for, looking ahead to kind of step into Caleb Hood's role. You're losing Anthony Quealy. Derwin Burgess is returning. Derwin's going to be your true number 1. I think Derwin's going to step up in a big way. He's a hell of an athlete, man. But a guy that to look out for is Dalen Cobb. He's had a great last half of this season. Didn't play much early on, but I think, he was just trying to get a feel of things. He's new, freshman, but Dalen Cobb's my guy to be looking out for the next couple years at Georgia Southern, man.
Do you think that J.C. French is the man under center next year?
JC actually broke his forearm against App State. Dude, they benched Davis, and then JC came in there, and dude, second drive broke his forearm, unfortunately. But yes, word is, I don't know how true this is, that JC will definitely be back by springtime. And then this is no surgery required, no pins, no nothing, very minor break.
Throwing hand?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, so...
Still plenty of time.
Yes. And I'm just glad it wasn't a shoulder or anything like that, because that can be... You can have a lot of lingering things with your throw and shoulder, you know what I mean? With this, he at least is going to now have the entire offseason to fully rehab that. So, never wish on anybody getting hurt, but it did happen the last game. So, he at least has a whole offseason to rehab.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we're not going to take a transfer quarterback this year. I think we got to see what we have in that quarterback room right now. Being J.C. French, transfer from Memphis. He's a redshirt freshman right now. And first year under the offense, would be a redshirt sophomore next year, I'm pretty sure. Then you got Bo Allen, transfer from Kentucky. NCAA ruled him ineligible this year, so he couldn't play all year. So he's sitting back there practicing every day. He's probably got a headset on the sidelines and stuff, man. So they're going to have a good battle. And then you also got to look out for David Dallas. I think he went to Trinity up in Atlanta. He's got a twin brother, Josh Dallas, who's a wide receiver who's going to get a lot of playing time next year. Got a good bit of playing time this year. Redshirted his first year, I'm pretty sure. But David's going to be, I think he's a smart quarterback. And, of course, he has had some lingering throw and shoulder injuries. I think he tore his labrum spring camp when he first started, because he left high school early to start. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he has not dressed out for a single game, but he's at practice every day. He's at least taken a lot of mental reps. So, you got 3 guys that can compete already in that room, and have been, being 2 years at Georgia Southern now with Coach Heldon in that offense. And Bo Allen and JC have this full season to really learn that offense. And I think that is going to help a lot, because I don't think a transfer guy, if they haven't ran this offense before, could get thrown to be like, oh shit, like I'm throwing the ball 50 times a game. Like, it's a lot. But if you're actually sitting back there and looking at it, like we talked about with Carson Beck earlier, like it's the exact same thing. Of course, we're talking about Georgia and Georgia Southern here. Obviously, Georgia's superior football team, but still, You got to have guys that just. I think what we got now can do it, and you really take a hard look in that transfer portal for some boys in the trenches.
I am very much looking forward to Georgia Southern having a quarterback that's going to be a multi-year starter.
Yes.
I feel like having a dude
Got three guys that can do that.
come in, start 1 year, and then bounce to the NFL or what have you. It's so hard to build consistency with your offense and have him build relationships with receivers and stuff like that.
And
So
I think, with the relationship with like Davis and Kyle, they came in the spring before, so they had all spring to build those relationships. But like you said, you see this guy for a couple years, that's your boy. You know what I mean? Like,
let him get his boy.
I'm not saying that these players don't love Davis and they didn't love Kyle. Like, they obviously
they
do.
undoubtedly do.
But when I'm like we just said, like, being with those guys for 2 to 4 years, like whatever it is, like, it's a big difference maker. And you see that with Carson Beck right now. I mean,
yeah. He sat and waited his turn.
Gunnar Watson.
Yeah.
Gunnar Watson's a big one. I mean, it sat and waited his turn, battled some injuries, developed a lot of good chemistry with those guys. I mean, you look at App State's quarterback Aguilar, he sat for a couple years. I mean, I think we're in a good position to do that.
Not to downplay Georgia Southern's season. I think that it was a good season. Making a bowl game is an accomplishment.
Yes.
And it should be looked at as so.
Yes.
But it's fun to look ahead. So, what is for Georgia Southern to go out and win, possibly 10 games, 9 games, have a really good year, like make a Sun Belt appearance next year, what has to happen in your mind?
Like I've been preaching the last couple minutes is just boys in the trenches are going to be huge. How can you improve that offensive line? Because I think Davis has gotten sacked maybe 23, 24 times this year versus Van Treese a year before he got sacked 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. And I think, you can probably watch film and nitpick some stuff. It is what it is. I'm not going to get into that, but boys in the trenches and putting pressure on that quarterback from our defensive line is going to be huge. I think secondary's getting much better, but the big thing for me is replacing Marquise Watson in that middle linebacker. Mm-hmm. He's your leader of the defense. Of course, you got Terry and Lee transfer from Texas A&M. He's still there, great player. But Mar's your leader, man. I mean, he's averaging anywhere between 10 to 15 tackles a game. I mean, that's super, super hard to replace, man. That's your defensive play caller. It's tough to replace, and I feel like a guy like that's been at Georgia Southern for 5 years, I mean something to the team. You know what I mean? Like, we need another guy to be that guy and step up and be a multi-year starter like we've talked about. Not just at quarterback, but at other positions too, which future's bright.
Future's bright?
Future's really bright, man. I'm just excited to see Georgia Southern really getting back to the top of the Sun Belt, man. I really am, and like we said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I firmly believe that Hilton is the guy.
Yes. And I think Brian Ellis is a great offensive coordinator. And, people on Twitter and stuff, they nitpick, the play call this, play call that. Okay, let's be realistic here. We're sitting here on Twitter bitching about it, saying X, Y, and Z. You're probably sitting in your mom's fucking basement on the damn couch. And
armchair quarterback, baby.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, none of us are qualified to be that coach. Like, do you want Coach Helton or Coach Ellis coming into your job and telling you how to do your job? No. So shut up and don't tell them how to do theirs.
I think it'd be kind of cool. Dude, if I just had Clay Helton stand over my shoulder while I'm sitting here typing on the computer.
Yeah,
if that conjunction doesn't work.
Coach Helton, here's my offer. Come clean swimming pools with me for one day. I would love to have you.
I want you to come over and just, grammar check me while I'm sitting there typing.
Hopefully we'll get Coach on the pod soon. I actually was speaking to him the other day and didn't mention the pod, but just wish him good luck, told him I loved him.
It's a long time.
And yeah, man. And we actually did have Coach Helton on the pod before the season started, but the audio messed up.
Yeah.
So
that's tough.
we had to scrap that one, unfortunately. But
Just throw it at me. Why
yeah,
don't you?
no kidding. But hopefully once this season wraps up and some recruiting dies down, and get some free time, we'll do it. So we got a good bit on our list too. I know we were talking about Lil Muschamp too.
Yeah. No, we're gonna have some very good guests over the next couple of weeks.
We need to really try to get some hookups at UGA. Try to score some interviews there. I'm really thinking maybe Del McGee might be possible. Might be. Don't know.
That's a big ticket item right there.
Don't know if I can make it happen, but it might be possible. Might be.
Before we jump into this next segment, I'm gonna go ahead and flip our Spotify here.
Yeah. Before
So
we get
that's-
into that, I really don't have much on the Jets. I know you want to talk about the Jags, but once we get this going, I can shoot off the minute I have for the Jets, and we can kind of go into Jags in the Gamelin corner. Sorry, guys. So Spotify only allows you to record for an hour, so we have to cut it off and then restart it. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're good to go now. Before we jump into NFL, I do have one thing that we never talk about, but I think it is worthy to be talked about. Mercer is on the second round of the FCS playoffs.
man. MU Bears, go Bears, man. I saw that. This guy I work with, Stu, he loves Mercer, and he keeps up with them.
I'm double checking. Yes. So last week, Mercer beat Gardner-Webb 17-7 in the first round of the FCS playoffs, and this week they have South Dakota State, who is
number one team in the FCS.
11-0.
Yeah,
Task.
and they won it last year.
Tall task ahead for
South
the Mercer Bears.
Ooh. You said you were good at mascots? What's South Dakota State's mascot?
Jackrabbits. Give me a challenge. Give me a challenge. That's right. I got FCS in that knowledge base too, baby. That's what my game is.
Okay. Speaking of a new FBS team in 2025, current FCS, Delaware.
Delaware?
The home of Joe Flacco.
Oh, dude. Is it a bird?
You're on the right track.
I know it's a bird, dude.
I heard this today on the Group of Five Guys.
I know it's a bird, dude. All right, I give up.
I gotta Google it just to double check.
Dang it, I was just thumping my chest about knowing FCS teams
All right,
too.
keep thinking.
Eagles sounds too basic. I don't think that's right.
You are on the right track.
Falcons, Hawks, Cardinals.
Okay, so Coastal Carolina is the Chanticleers, right?
Yep.
I like to call them the beach chickens. So, what do you call the female chicken?
Hen.
Blue hens. Fighting blue hens.
Fighting blue hens. All right, I got the bird. I'm counting.
Yeah,
that. I'm counting.
So
it.
you were on the right track.
Yeah.
You were on the right track. But yeah, home of Joe Flacco. They will be in the FCS in 2025.
And I'm pretty sure Joe Biden went to Delaware as well. Two famous Joes from Delaware.
Two famous Joes in Delaware. We gotta love it.
That's crazy, dude. That's a pretty good alumni from
Yeah,
Delaware.
you know what? Joe Biden doesn't have a Super Bowl MVP, so
No, he does not. No, he does not. So who's the better Joe from Delaware?
yeah, Joe Flacco's got the Super Bowl MVP, and I think he's starting for the Browns on Sunday
Yeah, that's nuts.
because
That's wild.
DTR got hurt. He's starting for the Browns on Sunday.
That is
How is this guy
crazy.
still in the league, man?
Dude, who are the Browns playing? Because I remember seeing them being underdogs. I was like, that's weird.
Got two missed phone calls from Gatlin.
Cool.
Maybe we should get a call in for his picks.
Yeah.
I'll call him back. in a minute. The Brownies are on the road against the Rams. Rams minus 3.5, according to ESPN.
Can you imagine if we had a Jamie sitting over there? It's like, who are the Browns playing?
I know, no kidding. I was listening.
We're still taking applications. by the way.
Yeah, I was listening to Joe Rogan today, and he was like, "Yeah, Jamie's the best. He can pull up shit so quickly." And I was just like, "Damn, man! I wish me and Alec had a Jamie."
Dude, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and he asked Jamie to pull up the most obscure shit I've ever heard in my life.
He pulls it up
Yeah, it would
Instant,
be like,
man.
It'd be like, Jamie, dude, you remember that video of that grizzly bear fighting that pack of wolves from 2015? Can you pull that up real quick?
Yeah.
And then Jamie's got it pulled up on the screen.
Dude, he's so good at his job,
He is
man.
really good at his job.
So we need one of those.
Yeah, we need one of those desperately.
Yeah, bad.
All right, well, yeah, go Mercer Bears.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting here for the hometown team.
They
Now-
got a damn good quarterback too, man.
Yes,
he's
they
a
do.
damn good
Carter
quarterback.
Beebe,
Yeah,
very good.
Very good.
Dude, Ty James, receiver,
Yeah.
leading receiver for Mercer. That dude might be one of the best receivers across all levels of college
Dude,
football.
he is definitely a top 3 receiver in FCS, no doubt about it. But dude, he's definitely a top 10 receiver in all of college football.
He is so good, so good.
Dude, I don't think he even had a star coming out of high school.
I doubt he did.
I very well could be wrong.
I doubt he did, but he was one of PFF's highest rated players in college football last year.
Yeah.
Out of like 430 qualifying teams.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I did see something the other day, man. He's still up there right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'd have Jamie.
Jamie. God.
So before we get into NFL, well, actually I'm getting into NFL, but I don't have really anything for the Jets other than they suck and can't score any points, and Aaron Rodgers is on the right track to being healthy, but he should sit till next year. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
All right, I'll run a little bit of Jags. The Jaguars are the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yaggies.
Who had that on their 2023 bingo card?
Well, who had the Jaguars even being relevant when Urban Meyer was the head coach?
I did not.
Yeah, nobody did.
I remember when Urban got hired, I said this is either going to turn out very good or very poor. And it turned out very poor. But now we got Dougie P, and he's
a goat.
He's got him rolling. So 24-21 win over the Texans on Sunday. That was a huge win over a very good divisional opponent. They're currently sitting, already got one packed in.
I just putting in a fresh Zenachino
Gotcha.
for the boys.
Gotcha. 8-3, number 1 seed in the AFC, which is nuts. Got the Bengals on Monday Night Football. It's -8. Joe Burrow's currently out. So
Yeah, Jake Browning.
That's why you got the big spread there.
Hey, Jake Browning was a Washington quarterback when they made it to the college football playoffs.
I do remember that. They
I
got
found that out the other
beat
day.
like 24-7 by Alabama, maybe.
I think Alabama beat the. I think the game was in Atlanta actually,
Yep.
and one of the first college football big games at the Mercedes-Benz. If I'm
Is
not
that the only
mistaken.
Pac-12 team to make it? No, Oregon made it year 1.
Yeah, Oregon did make it year 1.
Former Pac-12 teams.
Yeah, we're gonna see one of them this year. Which dude, what a great last year for the Pac-12, man. They're
Yeah.
going out in style.
I mean, except for USC, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
USC
yeah,
has
yeah,
been
yeah.
horribly underperforming.
Speaking of them, man, so my sister-in-law Taylor is a big Miami fan. She's from Miami. Like her dad's a Florida State Patrol guy, like with Cristobal. Like
That's
it's
pretty
badass.
cool.
Badass.
That is pretty sick.
We're talking about if everything lines up right, we're gonna go to Miami's bowl game, and I saw a projection in El Paso, Texas against USC,
Ooh,
and I was like, dude, that would be awesome.
that would be very interesting.
Be a good football game
Would that
too.
be the Alamo Bowl?
Yeah, Alamo Bowl.
But in the Alamo in San Antonio? Am I tripping? Jamie. Do I not remember the Alamo
No,
properly?
the Alamo is definitely in San Antonio. Alamo Bowl is in San Antonio. Yeah, because I was just in freaking San Antonio like a month ago, dude. Like,
I knew I remembered the Alamo. Hell yeah. What were we talking about? The Alamo totally threw
we're
me
talking
off.
about USC. It's a Sun Bowl. Sun Bowl. Tony the Tiger in the
Yeah,
Sun
yeah,
Bowl.
yeah. Tony the Tiger's Sun Bowl. That's
Yeah.
freaking ridiculous. Oh,
So-
here's a question for you. When's the last time the Jaguars played Monday Night Football?
Dude, the Jets before this year weren't on prime time for like 10 years. So I could probably like the same.
2011.
Not even when Blake Bortles was the quarterback?
Nope. 'Cause, I mean, if you think about it, that year was kind of an anomaly. Nobody really
Yeah,
saw
that's
it coming.
true. That is true. That is true.
2011 is the last time the Jacksonville Jaguars have appeared on Monday Night Football.
Who was the Jags quarterback? Was MJD the running back?
That might have been a little bit after MJD.
Nah, man. MJD had to have been the running back in 11. See, this is why we needed Jamie, man. Like,
Dude, we would have used him like 5 times already.
I know, no kidding. You got anything else on the NFL? Trevor had a good game.
Trevor did have a good game. I had a couple of just stats to throw out. Trayvon Walker's hit 4.5 sacks in 11 games, which he had 3.5 all of last year. So that's
Been pretty banged up
that
past
is
2 years.
something to kind of write home about. Josh Allen's been phenomenal. Josh Allen 41, not Josh Allen 17.
The real Josh Allen.
The real Josh Allen. T-Law. Dude, T-Law. 12 touchdowns, 7 picks, a fumble, and 3 rushing touchdowns. So that comes out to 15 total touchdowns and 8 total turnovers. The yardage is not the problem. Completion percentage is not the problem. He's been good running the football. Gotta have touchdowns.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, what we were talking about earlier is just like you see the problem with Georgia Southern, especially this last month. Red zone efficiency is not good. Not good. So being able to punch that ball in the end zone is huge, and what we've been talking about all episode is pretty much just limiting the turnovers. Yeah, he doesn't have that much compared to some guys in the league, but 8 turnovers still 8 turnovers. If you can get those touchdowns up, those turnovers back, Jags are going to make a playoff push.
Also, if Trevor has 20 touchdowns compared to 8 turnovers, that looks so much better.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're still sitting here a little over halfway through the season. So, regular season stretches on until first part of January. So, he's still got essentially another month and a half left of regular season ball.
The Jaguars' offense is wildly inconsistent. They will go on a 8-play, 75-yard drive, and I'll be like, oh my God, we can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the NFL.
Yeah.
We're so good. And then we'll go run, pass, punt in the next drive. I'm just like, oh my God, we are abysmal. We're the Steelers.
The Steelers, they've freaking flipped it around, had 400 yards last week after finding Matt Canada.
So maybe we're not even the Steelers.
I got one more thing on NFL. If you got anything else, I'll let you
I'm
go
good
first.
on Jags. Bengals and Monday Night Football. This has got to be a must-win here without
Jets
Joe
are
Burrow.
at home against the Falcons this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Falcons are 3-point favorites.
Yeah, I want to say around field goal. But I got one last thing. Should I break out the cadence?
Yes, absolutely.
So for those who haven't seen Dak Prescott's cadence, if we had a Jamie, we could show you a clip.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Green 18's up.
Dude, that was really good. He loves that. Yeah, here we go.
Can you tell I was an elite backup quarterback in high school?
Dude, I could hear it coming out in the voice.
Elite backup quarterback, man.
I could hear it coming out in the voice, dude. That was good.
Yeah, here we go. Dude, so gambling corner.
Are we going to the corner?
Yeah, since Gatlin called me twice, Cisco is no longer a celebrity guest picker. He went 3 weeks in a row at dead 500, 2-2 every week. So we made him pick an odd number, and he went 0 for 3 on Thanksgiving Day. So, sorry, Cisco. The new celebrity guest picker this week is out of Waynesboro, Georgia, Gatlin Jenkins.
The bird dog capital of the world.
That's where I got my dog.
Hell yeah.
Let's see if Gatlin answers, because I don't know why he called me. I told him he could call in the
84%
pod.
chance.
I told him he could call in the pod. Maybe he's just like, I want to call in the pod. Gatlin,
What's up?
hey, we're live on Water Hose Drinkers right now.
Oh yeah, I'm live on Fortnite right now.
Hell yeah.
You got any?
What's going on?
You got any dubs?
No, I have not. I'm not playing with the bad people, but we're trying.
All right, Gat. So you got 2 plays tonight, man. You can tell me how some of these games are going, because I know the Rockets started about an hour and a half ago. You got the Rockets plus 8.5 against the Nuggets.
Yep.
You got Wake Forest plus 5 against Florida, and UGA minus 5.5.
Let me check that. Last time I looked, Wake Forest was losing 22 to 20. About 5 minutes ago.
It's 54-54 with 9 minutes left to go in the game.
Oh wow.
And the Rockets start in 8 minutes.
Wait, how'd you do that where you just got to the menu
not looking too shabby. So,
I didn't know you do that.
I took Wake Forest last week, and I caught a dub with them. And I also had them actually in a parlay last week with Georgia Tech and Wake Forest is flat going. I think they're going to go pretty far.
Yeah, the ACC basketball is legit too. But last thing I got for you, man, you got the Dogs minus 5.5. How do you see that game going? I mean, I know you want them to cover the spread, obviously, but you as a Georgia fan.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if Bama plays like they did last week, I think we're going to run right through them. But I mean, obviously they're the best last week either. But I just know that Georgia just plays competitive football. So whenever we go against Bama, it's just going to be a good, close game. I think it's going to be by a touchdown.
It's going to be one for the ages, man.
It's going to be a good one. If we win this one, I'm not scared to play Michigan. That's for damn sure.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. The two teams I'm scared of right now in college football are Alabama and Oregon.
That's right.
I feel the exact same way.
After Michigan beating Ohio State last week, I'm glad they did. I'd rather play Michigan than Ohio State for sure.
Yeah.
But,
Screw Ohio State.
My take on Michigan is that Michigan is built like Georgia.
They say be careful what you wish for. I don't know.
100%. Well, Gat, I appreciate it, man. I will see you on Friday, hopefully.
For sure.
And, yeah, go Dogs, go Eagles, man.
Go Dogs, go Eagles. Alec, good seeing you, bud. Good hearing from you.
Good hearing from you, brother. Let me know if you want to hop on and link up for a Fortnite dub later.
I will for sure.
All right, get a dub.
All right, see ya.
See ya. That was Gatlin Jenkins, our new celebrity guest picker. So he's got 3 picks to recap. Wake Forest +5 going on right now versus Florida. Georgia minus 5.5 against Alabama. And starting here in approximately 6 minutes, the Rockets +8.5 versus the Nuggets. So we'll kind of know here in a couple hours what Gatlin's week is looking like, if he's going to come back or not. So I like it, man. He's taking stuff like right now.
Let's go ahead and get this thing out.
I enjoy that, man. We got some spicy picks ahead. I don't know what you got. I feel like mine are really nothing crazy, but Pepe's got 2 spicy ones for us. So I'll start us off. I went 1-2 last week. I am 18-24 on the year. Not good. It's been a bad month, dude, because I feel like every week I'm just like, all right, I'm going to take Georgia Southern. We just lost. So it is what it is, but I've got Troy minus 5.5 versus App State. Troy's defense is very good, man. Mm-hmm. App is a damn good football team. No disrespect to them, as much as I hate App State. But Sunbelt does not have a neutral site for the conference championship, so it is going to be played in Troy, Alabama. So with that home field advantage, I think it's supposed to be raining. App relies more on their quarterback to make good throws and stuff like that. Troy, obviously with Kamani Vidal, great run game. And Troy's going to get after the quarterback. And I see Troy covering, but I don't see them winning by 14 to 20 points. I think they're going to probably win somewhere around 7 to 10 points. It's going to be a good football game.
And, of course, we can't go against our boy Gunnar Watson.
No. Gunnar, calling it right now. Conference championship MVP, Gunnar Watson.
Yep.
Gunnar Watson. Let's go, Gunnar. Yep. Good luck this weekend, man. We're really rooting for you. Beat App State, for real. We love you, Gunnar. I've got Oregon -9 against Washington. Washington's lost too many close games. Won too many close games this year. Ducks are going to get back at them. In Vegas.
In Vegas.
And then last, I got Oklahoma State +15.5 versus Texas.
I
do still think Texas wins, but I don't think they cover the spread.
I like those, dude. Well, I went 2-1 last week. I'm 23-15 on the year, so we're still in plus territory. The Hose Drinkers are double dipping on the Ducks. Double dipping Ducks. I like that. -9.5 versus Washington, like Josh said.
9 now.
Is that 9?
Flat 9.
I already hypothetically took it at 9.5.
Oh, okay. So we just need them to win by 10, because screw the push.
Dude, it's very difficult to beat a good team once, nearly impossible to beat a good team twice in the same year. I think Oregon's got Washington's number, so that one's that book is closed. I got Michigan, Iowa under 35.5. I don't know if Iowa scores a point against Michigan's defense.
And for those who don't know, Iowa's first half team total is 0.5. And I see them maybe kicking a field goal in the second half, and that might be it.
0.5 for a first half team total.
And this team's still ranked 16th in the nation,
They're
man.
10-2.
They're 130th in the FBS in yards and touchdowns, right? Out of all the 130 FBS qualifying teams. They have 20 touchdowns on the year. And what Blake Corum, running back from Michigan, he's got 23 touchdowns on the year. Sorry to interrupt your picks.
That is mind-boggling. So mind-boggling.
You got under the Michigan game,
Yes.
Oregon.
And then my final NFL pick is Lions -4 at the Saints on Sunday.
Falcons, big win on the Saints. Younghoe Koo, 90% in his career as a field goal kicker. Shout out Younghoe. We're going to get him on the pod, man. No, actually, we're going to get Younghoe on the pod because we haven't done a pod in 2 weeks. So I went to the ODU game. I met Taylor Heineke, got to hang out with Taylor Heineke and Younghoe Koo and J.J. Wilcox, former Georgia Southern player, played for the
That's
Cowboys
sweet,
too.
dude.
So, and I was bending their ear. Heineke might be a reach to get on the pod, but we're gonna have Younghoe Koo and J.J. Wilcox on the pod.
That's going to be
one
so
day.
sick.
And I think we can definitely swing Tyler Bass too, but I think we might could get Heineke.
Dude, we better, because Tyler Bass is the inspiration for one of my fantasy football team names.
Yeah.
And he's been on my team the entire year.
Yeah, dude.
Team name is Bass to Mouth.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was that day. I also got to hang out with Matt Sprouse with a group of 5 guys. Love you, Matt Sprouse. Yeah, man, it was great. We had a good time. So hopefully we can swing a couple interviews, man. And
We're going to have some good guests.
next week, speaking of Matt Sprouse, next week we got Matt coming on the podcast. So
That's very exciting.
yeah, everybody gets to see that. A little backstory on him, just real quick. Group of 5 guys. They just cover Group of 5 football, no Power 5 stuff. So they're really, honestly, the main non-big media, because ESPN doesn't really cover the Group of 5 at all. Mm-hmm. So they're really just the prominent media source for the Group of 5 football, which I love. And I like to call in their podcast every week. They do voicemails. Hopefully one day when we get bigger, we can do that too. I think that could be cool. We could get a Jamie to do all that shit for us. So,
Yep.
But yeah, dude, played football at MTSU, and he's great individual, and he supports the Host Drinkers, so we gotta love him.
Love that.
So, Pepe's weekly 4-pack straight off the zero turn Toro. He went 3-3 last week. He is 28-28 on the season. I called him today, and he said, "Man, I got some spicy ones this week for you, and I think we're really gonna make a big push at the tail end of the season, baby."
Big December coming up for the boys. I can feel it.
It was a rough November. It was a rough November, but
Well, that's why they make the year 12 months and not 11.
no kidding, dude. And you know what happens when a lot of the public is hitting on Vegas in a month?
Vegas
Vegas
theirs.
gets back, baby. So what do we take? The side of Vegas. So you're looking at the side of Vegas right here. Pepe, FSU -2.5. Oregon, triple dipping on the Ducks.
Triple duck dipping, baby.
Oregon -9. And Saturday morning, Newcastle United money line -106 versus Manchester United.
Is that our first soccer play of the year?
Might be second. I think he might have had one early on when we first started the
Yeah, that sounds right.
But Pepe gave us our first future. Ravens 8-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
He said he didn't load up.
Sprinkle.
Little sprinkle.
Sprinkle.
Little sprinkle.
I have an interesting, outstanding future that I placed back in August.
Well, I've got a large mental future on the Dogs to win the national championship. So
Large mental future.
yeah.
The two futures that I hypothetically hammered in August: Jags win total over 9.5, and
Me too.
quadruple dipping on the Ducks Pac-12 champs.
Really? Oh, so you need a big Saturday by the Ducks.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, we really need the Ducks to cover this spread. But yeah, man. Yeah, I also got the Jags to win the division, and
Good pick.
over on the win total, and I got the Ravens to win the division.
Very good picks.
Yeah.
Ravens are a freaking wagon.
Yeah, I also took like the Packers to win the division because like mentally I was looking at it and I was like, On Twitter I saw it was plus odds because I don't gamble, so I'm gonna mentally put. I think I mentally put like $25 on it and it pays out like $300, but like it's not gonna happen. So
Yeah, that's looking like the Lions division to lose.
But if everything else is, it don't matter.
it don't matter.
So who's your winner of the week?
My winner of the week is myself is included in this. CD Lamb fantasy owners. Buddy's been on a freaking tear. Past 6 weeks. So he went 18.7 fantasy points by week. 41 points, 28.1, 39.5, 16.5, 17.3. CD Lamb fantasy owners are the winners.
Who's your loser?
Loser. Sorry, Oregon State.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Lost 2 in a row. Left out of a Power 5 conference. Didn't get picked up by anybody. Just lost their head coach, Jonathan Smith. Is now going to Michigan State. Great pickup by the Spartans. I think Jonathan Smith is one of the more underrated coaches in the country. And, dude, I mean, they very well could be a Mountain West team. I mean, they could be a G5 team.
Yeah.
That freaking sucks. Oregon State, I didn't want to put you up there. The Beavers, by the way, if you're wondering. I didn't want to put you as my loser.
And Wazoo's in that boat too.
Yeah, Wazoo is in that boat. I mean, Oregon State has been good the past 2 years.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I am so shocked that they didn't get picked up with Oregon to go to the Big Ten.
I don't even know what's going to happen.
I think that Oregon State's really good at baseball, maybe, and I mean they got a decent basketball program. I was very surprised that they didn't get picked up.
I have a very surprising winner of the week this week.
This-
First time slipping into the winning column is Grayson McCall.
This is more shocking than hearing somebody drop the F-bomb.
Grayson McCall. He is transferring from Coastal Carolina.
How long has he been there?
Dude,
He's got to be a 5th year, right?
no, I think he's about to be a 6th year.
That's nuts. And then transferring.
Yeah. Well, he tried to transfer last year, but took his name out of the portal and went back to Coastal because his GPA was too low to get into Auburn. His GPA was too low for him not to be able to transfer last year.
That's crazy.
So we'll see how it works out for him. You know, maybe he's taking some underwater basket weaving or something, you know, to boost his
Yeah.
GPA. Maybe racquetball.
You should have
couple
taken
PEs.
my ultimate frisbee class.
Oh yeah, man. I signed up for flag football second semester of my freshman year, and the lady was like, all right, like, because, you know, first day of class in college, you know, you don't really do anything, 10, 15 minutes, you're out, you know?
Yeah.
And so this teacher was like, all right, so I'm going to start it off. About 3 or 4 of y'all are going to tear your ACLs, and y'all are going to run, and we're going to condition for the first half of this class, and then we're going to actually play football after spring break.
What a wild thing to say.
Oh, it gets better. And she goes, all right, let's get to it. Keep in mind, this is January. It's cold out. She was like, all right, y'all get ready to run. I hope you brought your running shoes. I turned around and it was at the rack, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So I turned around, I hopped in my truck, and I got out of there, man. As I'm dropping this class.
I would have dropped that class so quick.
Yeah, I was like, flag football, that'd be fun. Nah. Loser, Monday Night Football.
Oh, awful game.
I think the under is like 13-2 this year, or like 12-2, something like that. So yeah, it was snooze fest.
Under for Monday Night Football games?
Yeah. So you want to tell the people about our Mount Rushmore? I think this was a really, really good one, man.
Yes.
This one and the last podcast, man, 2 weeks ago, both very good ones.
I do have to mention that, yes, I did take an ultimate frisbee class my freshman year of high school, or freshman year of college. Your boy's got a weird knack for ultimate frisbee.
Dude, we played, I played soccer and ran cross country my senior year, so we do that as like Friday conditioning, just like have fun. But I dropped that flag football class to and I signed up for volleyball, and that shit was fun.
I bet that was a lot of fun. I was no super athlete or anything like that in high school, but put a disc in my hand, watch me go.
I can't throw it, but I can catch it.
I can hunk that bitch.
I'm like, I can hit that 10 to 20 yard out route. You know, something up the middle.
No, dude, I'm Jalen Milroe with that bitch.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a good Mount Rushmore. It is excuses. Excuses for anything.
Yeah. Very broad, whether it be football or calling out sick, making an excuse that you can't go hang out with your friends, whatever be it.
Anything.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So my honorable mention is just referees in general, you know, blaming the referees on why you lost, and ultimately, for the majority of the time, that doesn't decide football games.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, you know, you're rooting for your team, so everybody hates the refs, man. It is what it is. Number 4, I got calling in sick to work because you drank too much the night before. I personally don't do that.
He would never.
And number 3, mental health day to miss school. I took a lot of mental health days in college, and, you know, it did take me 5 years to get my degree, you know, but...
Yep. Maybe too many mental health days.
Yeah, too many mental health days, especially freshman year.
That mental health is humming, boy.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to sit on my couch, you know. That had a lot to do with drinking too much the night before, but it is what it is. Number 2, the classic elementary school excuse. My dog ate my homework.
Dude. I did hear about a girl in college that she had this big like project that she had like multiple pieces of paper, and her dog legit ate that shit.
That's funny.
That is the only time I've ever heard that happening.
I don't think I've ever heard that happening, honestly. I feel like kids back in elementary school, like I definitely did it one time in like elementary and middle school, and just like my dog ate my homework and just like sitting there like in the hallway, just like ripping it up,
Yeah.
like the shreds, like because I just didn't do my homework. Like I was always sitting on the fence at recess because I couldn't do my homework. But number 1 is COVID. Solely because people are not consuming enough hose water. That is solely why it's number 1. Be like, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sick. I got something to solve all of your issues. Not ivermectin. Not
And it's
hydroxychloroquine
so
or whatever it
easy to
is. So easy to get. Just a little bit of hose water.
A little bit of hose water.
That's all I got. That's my list of excuses.
Classic.
I like it.
Just classic excuses. Those are going down in the history books. Those are all-time moves. All right. My honorable mention is everyone else was doing it. They could be anything. Drinking in high school, you get in trouble with your parents. Everybody else was doing it. And then your mom hits you with if everybody else was jumping off a bridge, would you? And you're just like, well, yeah, if all of my buddies were doing it, probably.
Yeah, if little Johnny jumps off a bridge, would you do it?
Yeah, Johnny's my boy. I'm not letting Johnny jump off a bridge by himself. This one's going to kind of overlap with one of Josh's. Your favorite team loses, refs blew it.
Yeah.
Or this is a two-parter. Our star player was out.
Yeah.
And I think we know of some teams in recent history that have used that one and beat that drum to death.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyways, you're losing at a drinking game. Oh, these are not the rules that we play.
I don't play these.
You're playing cards. You're just like, oh, dude, we play the Texas rules.
You can't do the island 3 times.
Yeah,
Like,
you
what
can't
do
do
you
you can't do island 3 times.
Yeah. Dude, your elbow's over the line, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's not how we played in high school. That's top tier. You missed a shot with a gun, like if you're target shooting or something like that. Oh, dude, my scope's off for sure. It's like, well, I saw you sighted in. Like, yeah, that shit's on.
Can't hit the broadside of the barn.
Yeah.
This guy.
My final one is you're performing poorly in video games. I use this one quite often. Oh, dude, I'm lagging. My internet's bad.
Excuse.
Excuse. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
So yeah, that's the Mount Rushmore. I know Alec has got a great chaos theory in store for us, and then after that, we're going to call our good friend Cooper Roberts. This is going to be a long podcast today, which I don't care because I'm enjoying this. It's been a really great episode.
Having a great time.
So, and I think this is probably going to be one of our better podcasts because of what we're going to be getting into here in a minute. So, after Chaos Theory, like we said at the beginning of the episode, we're going to get into the chicken coop, which what we normally do at the beginning of the episode. So, and we also have a new history segment that name pending. We need to find a name for it.
Oh, dude, we can come up with something really good.
Yeah, so name pending on the history segment. So this one's pretty short today. And if we have like a long one, it's going to be like another episode. So if we have it on the tail end episode like we do today, it's going to be Chicken Coop, and Cooper help us out with the history segment.
Sweet. So if you haven't noticed, when we go to Chaos Theory and History, I pull up the clipboard because this is business.
When are you going to snap that over your knee?
I need something bad to happen. I don't want to just do it just for nothing, but it will
If the
happen.
Dogs lose the SEC championship and Oregon doesn't cover the spread?
Count your days. If Oregon does not win, you might see a clipboard break. And that's another reason why you have to watch the YouTube if you are listening on Spotify, because you could at any moment I could haul off and snap the clipboard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it when it's unexpected. Like I want it to be shocking.
Yeah.
All right, so
What we got for Chaos Theory?
Chaos Theory. This takes us all the way back to the 2012 SEC Championship game. Georgia and Alabama, both playing with one loss. Alabama wins the game 32-28. It's a real back and forth. Dude, Georgia went up 21-10. Alabama kept firing back. Georgia gets the ball with a minute left. Aaron Murray hits a couple of big throws, moves us down the field to the 15-yard line. Clock is ticking, no timeouts. Aaron Murray gets kind of clipped and throws a pass out to his right. Chris Conley, I do not blame you for this. Chris Conley, I love you so much. He was a former Jaguar as well. We want you on the pod. Hose drinker.
Had a
all
great
of
number
that.
of years in the NFL, man.
Yeah,
He's
he
been in the league for
he
a
had
while.
Good career in the league. And instincts kicked in, and he caught it out to the right. Clock runs out. Game over. Alabama goes on to absolutely beat the shit out of Notre Dame in the national championship game. So our butterfly effect starts with if Chris Conley does not catch that football. Now, of course, Georgia still has to get in the end zone. They're down by 4. So
They should have spiked the ball.
yeah, we're playing devil's advocate here, and we're saying
Was that
Georgia
that game?
gets into the end zone to finish that game. They win 34-32, 35-32. So the subsequent years after Georgia lost that game, they went 8-5 in 2013, and they went 10-3 in 2014 and 2015. Mark Richt got fired after the 2015 season, and Kirby Smart was hired before the 2016 season. Mark Richt finished 145-51 at Georgia, 2 SEC championships, 4 appearances. Side note, not to get too far off track here, but Mark Richt would have made several college football playoffs if that was around when he was the head coach. So
Yes.
it's also kind of a interesting theory. But if Georgia wins that SEC championship and they go on to play Notre Dame, they're going to punish Notre Dame. Maybe not as bad as Alabama did, but they're going to beat that Notre Dame team. Georgia wins the national championship in 2012. How many more years does that buy Mark Richt?
Yeah.
How does that change?
They definitely would have beaten Notre Dame.
How does that change their recruiting profile going forward? If Mark Richt starts nailing top 3 classes, he's got a ring to show off. He broke the curse, the 40-year curse. Kirby Smart perhaps is at South Carolina in 2016. Because, I think that he was all but delivered to South Carolina, and then Georgia said, hell no, that's not happening. And that is when they kind of dumped Mark Richt. Maybe a little bit prematurely, but I think that Georgia realized that they had reached a ceiling with Mark Richt at that point.
Obviously, it was the right move.
Obviously was the right move. Obviously worked out.
And I love that Mark Richt is still living in Athens and still very supportive of UGA.
Yes, dude. Mark Richt, all-time damn good dog. Kirby Smart is in our hypothetical scenario, Kirby Smart is at South Carolina. I believe that Mark Richt is probably still at Georgia, or Georgia has another head coach, how does
Might have
this?
retired by now.
Yeah, he'd probably be retired by now. But I mean, does he go on to win more now that he has the traction, that buy-in from the boosters and the alumni after having a ring? Dude, there's a lot of different avenues you can go down here. How does this affect the SEC East? What about all these other coaches that Kirby Smart has put out of business? How does it affect Nick Saban's legacy if he doesn't have the 2012 national championship? I don't know, dude. What is your take on it?
I mean, if you spike that ball at Aaron Murray, have a shot at the end zone, yeah, it's going to be a complete different story, and Kirby Smart probably is at South Carolina. And, I mean, who knows who Mel Tucker might have been UGA's head coach. I don't know. I mean, there's so many different avenues to go down, and we could go on for days. But obviously, ultimately, it was the right decision. Obviously, 3 undefeated seasons, back-to-back national championships. But I love Mark Richt, man. No hatred towards him at all. Damn good dog. I hope his health is getting better, too. Mm-hmm. And Mark Richt's a man. What a genuine guy, too.
What a genuine guy. Dude, I have a...
Real class act.
I have a Powerade, like, little paper cup signed by Mark Richt. I went to his football camp when I was probably 8.
I've got a Georgia helmet signed by him.
And he was signing autographs, and so me and my buddy started furiously looking around for something for him to sign, and so we just picked up, like, a Powerade cup. But yeah, dude, he was such a nice guy. Actually,
I think this might have been the second time Kirby Smart dipped into our Chaos Theory. Because I think we kind of related him to one of the Nick Saban things.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I think with the induction of the playoff that Mark Richt makes a couple.
Yeah.
If he wins that 2012 one.
For sure. You want to call Coop?
All right, dude. Yeah, so that was about it for Chaos Theory today. That was just an interesting one to think about and, super relevant, obviously. But now it is time to...
We got a good Chaos Theory for next week, too. And I'm kind of excited for that. What I sent you on Twitter today.
Oh, yes.
I'm not going to spoil it.
I don't want to divulge anything, but it is another good one next week.
So for this history segment, we are diving into Operation Paperclip. And before we call Cooper, we'll get in just the broad basis of it. It was during World War II. So, and what I really wanted to mention before we talk to Cooper was, what do you think about next episode? Like, or maybe like for history, if we do like Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Like dive into that, and we can make it like maybe like multiple episodes.
Dude, we could definitely do that.
We'll workshop it.
We're workshopping a very good name for our history segments. But now let's get our man Cooper Roberts on the phone.
Oh,
Chicken Coop.
what's going on?
What you got for us today before we dive into some history?
Well, first I want to say I'm disappointed in the push from the Egg Bowl. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to get it in the positive for 2-1 for the week, but it's okay.
Yeah, dude, that game was an absolute snooze fest. 3-0 at halftime.
Yeah. So I guess from the tweet I saw, I went 1-1 this week. So it's not bad, not great.
Hey, it's you're just starting, man. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got a little SEC championship this weekend. You're a little Roll Tide fan.
Yeah.
So what you thinking, brother? What are your picks? What are your picks, I might add?
All right. I'll start off with the picks, and then I'll roll into what I think about this week.
Because I know you probably got Alabama.
Well, yeah, I'll give you the picks first, and I'll go into details of that. Not long details, but just a quick bullet points. So my picks this week, Friday night, I don't see how you don't take Washington with the points plus 9.5.
Oh, hey, you are
fading basically everybody.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's what I like to hear. All the money's on Oregon. You know where I'm going. I'm going the other way.
All right.
So,
All right.
yeah, it's just last time they played, it like came down to the last drive. I mean, not last drive, but I mean it was a one-score game. And yeah, like Oregon's going to be coming out hitting, but I think it's going to be within another, field goal or touchdown. So, I mean, if you're giving Washington 9.5, I don't see why you don't take that.
Well, we here need the Ducks bad. So, you know what, Coop?
Yeah.
I hope you lose, hypothetically. So, I know you don't gamble. So, I mean, it's all right. We
Yeah.
won't win or lose money.
As long
And,
as
and being biased, if, Oregon has 2 losses, that just puts Bama back up there, and so we don't we'll talk about this Oregon team.
well, dude, I would venture to say that Washington winning is worse for Alabama because I mean if they're undefeated, that's a guaranteed lock.
Well, I feel like if Washington loses, and then you have 2 one-loss Pac-12 teams that the whole committee is riding high on, then I feel like that hurts our cases even more. But I see where you're coming from.
What else you got?
Saturday, I got Troy -6 against App.
Love it. It's at 5.5 now. I love it.
5.5.
I'm on it too.
And then my last one was, what was it?
Alabama.
Tulane -3.5 against SMU.
Ooh, it's at 2.5 now, but I love it.
Yeah.
I
So
love
those
it.
are my 3. I'm staying away from the SEC games because even though it's all hypotheticals, I never hypothetically bet on Bama. So just because they're my team, and I feel like I put bad juju if I bet on them. So you can ask anybody that knows me, I never bet on them. Don't touch anything in the games they're in.
That's what I felt like for this past month of what I should have been doing is laying off Georgia Southern, and I've been taking them every week. So
Coop, you and I are in the same boat. I like to keep Georgia games as just hypothetically pure ball watching experience.
Exactly. I like to just watch the game. I don't want to, mess around with any of that stuff, hypothetically, of course. So I just watch those games as a fan.
you got an interesting question for us this week? If not, it's all right.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, it caught me off guard.
Okay.
but,
Okay. Hey, next week. Next week.
Next week, but I'll give you my honest SEC prediction.
Okay.
And, all the water hose drinkers out there that have been Bama fans as well, I'm sorry, but I've said this all year. I just think that Georgia's going to get it done. And I'm not saying this like just being humble. I just really think that if they stack the box, make Milrow throw, we are done for. Because you saw last week when we had, that player, last second play helped, but I'm saying we cannot throw the ball. And if you just shut Milrow down, then we're done. So I just think that, he's a playmaker, and Georgia lets the quarterback run on him a little bit. We saw it last week, Georgia Tech. But I'm just saying, if Kirby's going to stack the box, he's going to make Milrow throw. And against that secondary, I just don't see it adding up. And so I'm thinking it's going to be like a 10-point game.
In your eyes, if Alabama wins, what happened?
Because we were saying that if Alabama wins, Jalen Milrow is going to have a big day with his legs.
And I think so. I think that's the truth. Yeah, if he wins, it's because I could see it being like the LSU game where not saying he's going to have 5 rushing touchdowns, but he's going to have a hell of a day on the ground.
Yeah. No, I mean, like you said a minute ago, I mean, trying to keep him contained in the pocket is going to be key.
I think he's good
Yeah.
for 60 yards regardless.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I see 60 yards. Yeah, I mean, that's just, a couple, 1 or 2 breakaway plays,
I think
Yeah.
it is much more about containing than it is stopping. I don't think there's any stopping his running ability.
Yeah, so, and like I said, I mean, obviously I want Bama to win, and it could go both ways, but my gut feeling, and every Georgia fan I've talked to this week, I'm just like, dude, I just don't know, just the way Georgia's been playing and we've been playing, we've been playing better, but I just think that Georgia is probably going to get it done. But hopefully it's a good game, and I hope I'm wrong.
Dude, this is going to be controversial, and it's going to go against what you've been saying. But me personally, I would prefer if Georgia won.
I bet you would. But you know what the messed up thing is with this? Is if we win, I see there being a potential situation where the committee tries to leave both Georgia and Bama out still.
I was saying that earlier, dude. I think that there is a real shot if Michigan, Washington, and Florida State all win. There's your top
And
three.
Texas wins handedly.
And if Texas wins handedly, then you can't leave out Texas because they do have the head-to-head win.
Exactly. But on the contrary, how do you leave one-loss Georgia and the one loss is in the conference championship and their back-to-back natty champs? Like, how do you leave them out?
Well,
See, that's what I think. I think either way, the dogs are in.
Well, I thought that too, 2 weeks ago. But now, the way all this has been playing out, I mean, it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know. I think what's really going to help is FSU loses to Louisville this weekend because the committee's just waiting on them to lose and then they're out of there just because their schedule's been shit all year.
true.
So,
Yeah.
If FSU loses this weekend, if I was a Georgia fan, I'd feel a whole lot better than that win or lose SEC.
I think FSU wins. I think we're going to see Georgia, FSU, and Michigan and Oregon. And then we're going to see Georgia, Michigan.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like I said, like if we win the SEC, I would like to think, okay, we're definitely in, but that's not the case because this Texas loss is really shooting us in the foot. But I mean, I honestly think if we wouldn't have lost to Texas at the beginning of the year, then we wouldn't be as good as we are right now. So, I mean, the loss definitely opened our eyes and helped us out, but it's coming back and, like, shooting us in the foot right now.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got for SEC. I mean, it's going to be a good game, so I'm going to hypothetically have my money on all these other games and just watch this one and see how it goes.
I love that. Coop, just one moment, please. We're about to switch over our Spotify
Yeah,
hour.
we're fixing the Spotify right now before we dive into history. So,
All right.
but yeah, Coop. I mean, just to chat. I mean, what have you been up to these past 2 weeks? How was your Thanksgiving?
Man, it was great. Got to go home, get in the deer stand a little bit.
Very nice.
You didn't kill anything, did you?
No, I saw old Grandpa Buck walk across, and I wasn't turned his way. I was looking the other way, and so he got my ass. But I've been cracking him, so he hasn't been coming around yet. So I've been trying not to get his ass.
Damn. So we're back on Spotify. So just to recap, Coop was just talking about his Thanksgiving, and he wasn't at the right angle to kill a deer. So
Yeah, I was looking to the right when my gun propped up, and I turned my head left, and he was shooting across the trail, and I was like, ah. So he was waiting on me to look the other way.
Dude, they never linger. Those big ones don't.
Yeah. So,
Like a
yeah, he was a good
crowbar.
side.
Dude, Coop, I got one that I saw on camera through July, August, September. Like, he was daylighting. I had him damn near patterned out, and he's gone. I've asked all of my neighbors. Nobody's seen him. Nobody shot him. He just disappeared.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
It hurts my soul.
I know. And now I'm back, in Savannah working. My uncle's been sending me videos of all these big ass deer now that they're walking around there after I left, and I'm like, golly, dude.
They know, man. They knew that the apex predator was out of the woods and it was safe.
They had that feeling.
But yeah, man. So history, name pending on this segment too, Coop. We need to figure something out for the name of this segment. But no, man, I appreciate you helping us with this. I know you're interested in history too, so I mean, it's always great to have another person tagging along with the conversation. Makes it a lot easier.
Of course.
But just before we start, obviously it's Operation Paperclip, but what are your thoughts of maybe for next episode doing like a little Band of Brothers history?
Oh, I'd be down for that.
Talk about Band of Brothers, talk about the Pacific, both of those great TV shows.
I just finished the Pacific too. That's kind of why I was on that mind.
So good. They're based on real soldiers, real events, dude. It's all phenomenal.
I'm just like taking a deep dive right now into World War II, and I love it. honestly.
Yeah,
So
you
much
told me
interesting
about
stuff.
that to go check it out, the World War II in color. So I need to do that still.
Yeah, I was
Oh
on the phone
yeah,
with him.
World War II in colors,
the other day.
phenomenal.
That could be an episode whenever Coop gets around to watching it.
Yeah,
We could do a little
Yeah.
recap on World War II in color. That'd be good.
facts.
So yeah, I guess I'll kind of skim through this. I know we got some notes printed out, so y'all feel free to interrupt me anytime. So just seriously punch in. Like, don't be afraid to interrupt me. So Operation Paperclip. So as World War II was entering the final stages, the American and British organizations teamed up to occupy Germany for as much military and scientific technology development and research as they could uncover. So basically, they were looking at trying to find what Germany was developing, and the man with the funny mustache was developing. I don't think we can say his name on YouTube. So
His name is Adolf Hitler. History happened.
okay.
You talk about it. It's like Voldemort, man. Like, just say his name. Don't give him that power.
Well, I didn't say it, so that's what matters. Alec is getting canceled here in about 24 hours.
I've already dropped the F-bomb once. I'll do it again.
Yeah, we've dropped it like 5 times on this episode, dude.
Nice.
But so trailing behind the Allied combat troops, groups such as the CIOS, or as Combined Intelligence Objectives Subcommittee, they basically began confiscating, war documents and materials and interrogating German scientists, and their research facilities were seized by all of the Allied forces. So if you're not familiar, that meaning the U.S. and the British side of things, because back-to-back World War champs, baby. So, yeah, they recovered from a toilet, actually, at
I was
Bonn.
about to say, from
Yeah.
the commode.
Yeah.
Dude, commode. Such an
From the
underrated term.
John. Yeah, I thought this was actually super funny when I was reading it prior. So they uncovered from a toilet from Bonn University was the Ausenberg list, and that was a catalog of scientists and engineers that had been put to work for the Third Reich. And in a covert affair originally dubbed by the Operation Overcast, but later named Operation Paperclip, that's what we're talking about, roughly 1,600 of these German scientists, along with their families, were brought to the United States to work in the Americas during the Cold War. The program was run by the newly formed Joint Intelligence Objective Agency, better known as the JIOA, whose goal was to harness German intellectual resources to develop America's arsenal of rockets and other biological and chemical weapons, and to ensure such coveted information did not fall into the hands of the Soviet Union. Although the operation was sanctioned by Harry Truman, forbade the agency from recruiting any German members
Nazis. They were Nazis.
or
I'll say it.
active supporters of that party. I'm not going to say it. Nevertheless, officials within the JIOA and the Office of Strategic Services, or the OSS, the forerunner to the CIA, bypass this directive by eliminating or whitewashing incriminating evidence of possible war crimes from the scientists' records, believing their intelligence to be crucial to the country's post-war efforts. So basically, they were like, hey, either we're pretty much gonna, or you're gonna go to jail for the rest of your life for all the war crimes that you did, but here's your way out. Come work for us. Come help us fight the Cold War. So, you want to take the last 2 paragraphs, Al?
Yeah, I can. So, yeah, piggybacking off what Josh was saying, the CIA took all these Nazi scientists and basically said they're start hiding evidence. These guys weren't really that bad, blah, blah, blah. You get into kind of the Nuremberg trials a little bit from there. which
good-
is
good
basically
call.
trials that happened after the war where they put all of these German soldiers, officers, scientists, leaders, generals on the stand facing war crimes.
Yeah.
But basically what it boiled down to is they were let off the hook because they were following orders.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that kind of played a part in this. So moving on, one of the most well-known recruits was Werner von Braun, the technical director at the, I'm not even going to try to say that, but an Army Research Center in Germany who was,
Peenemünde Army Research Center.
thank you for that, who was instrumental in developing the lethal
Not right,
V-2 rocket that devastated England during the war. Von Braun and other rocket scientists were brought to Fort Bliss, Texas, and White Sands Proving Grounds in New Mexico as quote-unquote War Department special employees to assist the U.S. with their rocket experimentation. Von Braun later became director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center and the chief architect of the Saturn V launch vehicle, which eventually propelled 24 American astronauts to the moon.
Allegedly.
Let's not get sidetracked there, because this will go 3 hours.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Although defenders of the clandestine operation argue that the balance of power could have easily shifted to the Soviet Union during the Cold War if these Nazi scientists were not brought to the United States, opponents point to the ethical cost of ignoring their abhorrent war crimes without punishment or accountability.
Yeah, so basically the German scientists put the man on the moon.
Yes, dude. One thing that I feel like people do not generally understand about World War II is Germany was vastly superior in technology to all of their opponents.
Yes.
Their tanks were better, their planes were better, their weapons, rockets, missiles, everything. I mean, even down to their battle strategy
And that's
was
why
all
I-
superior.
And that's why I highly recommend watching Band of Brothers too. I know both of y'all have seen it as well. I mean, you see that in that film. Even Coop, when you watch World War II in color, man, you see that.
American tank crews, when they came across a German Tiger tank or a German Panzer tank, they were struck with fear.
Yeah.
I mean, the Germans had better technology at every single turn, and they ran out of manpower. You can't occupy an entire continent essentially and expect to hold it against 3 world powers.
Yeah, especially when you got a general like General Patton.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, and then you got who was the
And then the USSR is throwing, millions of bodies at you. England had rejoined the war effort at that point. You start having Canadian troops flooding in. Things went very poorly for Italy, so Germany was basically on their own. Japan was occupied in the Pacific. I mean, Germany was standing against, like I said, 3 world powers, and they just ran out of steam. But dude, if they...
well, especially over in Europe too. I mean, a lot of that, you kind of just really talking about Band of Brothers more. It's just like how overpowered the German army was. You remember that episode when they were in Bastogne, right? Like how just slaughtered they got. And the Germans did that a lot early on in the war until, kind of later on. So, I mean, that's a whole nother episode. But I mean, still, it's absurd to me how these German scientists just basically got off scot-free just for following orders and generals and all this stuff, and basically helped create NASA.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what's crazy to me is just like how, if you want to look at the backbone of NASA and really deep into it, how it brings back to the Germans. And then also giving us that edge to the Cold War, and sending people to the moon, allegedly. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's just, like Alex said, they were just so advanced in everything. I mean, it was just not.
But it's like that's what's an interesting question for me is, obviously the USA now is probably one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, right? So how at that time is US falling behind on the advances in technology, and how are they falling behind to Germany?
Well, dude, we had the manpower, and we had the oil, for those of you
Up north.
that don't pick up on accents like that. And we had the industry. I mean, dude, we could pump anything out. Even before the U.S. joined the war, we were sending weapons and ammunition and stuff like that. But Germans had the scientific community. And also, expanding upon that, these scientists were bad dudes. They're not
They were brilliant though.
brilliant, but they were bad dudes. I feel like we're starting to paint a picture of a bunch of Tony Starks that are working on missiles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These guys were performing horrific human experiments on Jewish prisoners.
Cool.
I mean, dude, like just terrible, awful stuff, concocting terrible weapons. These were some bad dudes, and the CIA just let these guys off scot-free because we wanted to bankrupt the USSR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how bad we wanted it. Like we were just like, yeah, we're willing to just look the other way if y'all just do this. But really, it's not like they had another option. They're like, it's this or you're screwed. So
Could you also maybe say like a hypothetical thing, like if the U.S. didn't get all of these scientists, could we have been behind in the Cold War?
Certainly.
I think so.
You know,
Certainly.
especially like the race to the moon, you know,
Yeah.
and like
So I mean,
Nuclear programs.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we definitely would have been behind.
which is really you know scary to think about. Obviously, you know, in World War II, you know, the atom bomb, you know, on Japan and all that, but anyway, but all the nuclear bombs and stuff like that really didn't get advanced until these scientists came to the United States. And that was essentially, you know, the whole Operation Paperclip, you know, of like we keep on reiterating, like, if it wasn't for them, would we have all the nuclear weaponry that we do now and these technological advances? Could man have allegedly been on the moon, you know?
Dude, if
Yeah.
y'all, being both of y'all and anybody listening, have you seen Oppenheimer?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
literally about to say that.
Oppenheimer deals less with Operation Paperclip and more so with the nuclear program and its inception and how we essentially got to the atomic bomb.
That is going to be
But
a whole episode just
we
talking about
could
that.
do a whole episode. I won't divulge too much so that we can kind of save that for moving forward. But phenomenal movie, incredible movie.
That was literally going through my mind when we started talking about the bombs and stuff, and I was like, I mean, dude, this kind of could link to Oppenheimer.
Did y'all see it in IMAX?
I saw it in the theater. I don't. What is IMAX?
I don't know.
What's the difference between IMAX and regular?
I don't know.
Coop?
The one in Fuller is like the biggest IMAX in the world, and it's like a whole building connected to the actual movie theater.
Yeah,
And
that shit is fire and cooler.
Is it just video quality?
176.
Bigger screen, video quality. And I think most
Yeah.
of them now in the IMAX ones have like reclining chairs and shit. Like the
I'm
one in
pretty
Fuller
sure
is
there's
got-
like two different stories on it too, like
the one,
levels.
the one off Houston Lake doesn't though.
Dude, the scene where they're testing the bomb, I felt my heart beating so fast. The
That was
anticipation.
an awful.
Dude,
Dude,
Josh Peck pressing the button.
yeah, Josh Peck, dude. Hey,
That
he
did. I'm
killed
not
it.
gonna lie. That threw me off when I saw Josh Peck in there. I was like, what?
I thought he killed it, dude, because when I first saw him on screen, I was like, oh my god, that's Josh from Drake and Josh. But
But Cillian Murphy, man. I mean,
Oh.
Peaky Blinders too.
Yeah.
I mean, golly.
the cast was unreal. The dialogue was unreal.
And you
the
forget
score,
he's in the Dark Knight too.
yeah, Scarecrow
Yeah.
in the first Dark Knight. Cillian Murphy is up there, one of my favorite actors.
I see Oppenheimer as one of those movies like you watch again, and then you start picking up on little things here there you did it the first time, and it's just like I don't know. It was a really good movie to me. It's like I like the way they laid it all out and put it out there, but it's definitely intense on the information for someone who didn't know what it was about going into it.
Oh, 100%. And it's a bit of a slow burn. If you're looking for a shoot 'em up action World War II movie, then go watch Saving Private Ryan. But if you're
Yeah.
looking for an extremely well made, very well thought out, historically accurate movie about something that's very interesting, I think it's very interesting, then Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
another one, if you want to see like a gory one, Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge is a great movie.
Yeah, man.
Desmond Dawes?
Yeah, have you seen that, Coop?
No, I haven't.
Dude, we got a lot of stuff we can get into with this history, man. Just like different movies and
We
stuff
can
like
go
that.
20 episodes on just World War II.
We're definitely gonna do a lot on Easy Company, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot on Easy since we're on World War II.
Looks like I got a good list to watch.
Yeah, you do. I'll send you a whole list, man. Like I got a whole list of notes on my phone just on like movies and stuff, and like half of them are war movies.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Coop, I appreciate you, man. Like I really enjoyed this first little part of history, man, and next week start diving into the Band of Brothers.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I'll be doing my research, watch, get more.
I don't know how we're going to
detail-oriented.
structure it yet, but we've got time.
Yeah, Coop, you better have watched Band of Brothers, Hacksaw Ridge, The Pacific, and Greyhound all in 1 week.
I haven't seen Greyhound.
I'm gonna line them all up. Go back to back to back.
I haven't seen Greyhound. What's Greyhound about?
Greyhound, Tom Hanks is a battleship commander.
Oh yes,
Admiral,
I haven't
something
seen
like that.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting because it's about convoys of supplies crossing the Atlantic, and there's essentially this stretch of the Atlantic right in the middle where air support from Britain or America could not reach the ships. And that is where Germany did most of their hunting with their U-boat squadron. So they're constantly sinking supply ships left and right. It's about Tom Hanks trying to lead the supply convoy through the no man's land, if you want to call it.
It's interesting.
It's a great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, Coop, I'd highly recommend The Pacific too. I didn't think it was really all that great, but I thought it was good. I thought I really expected some like Band of Brothers type stuff, but like it's obviously way different.
I liked it because I feel like you see so much less content about the war in the Pacific, and everything is really focused on Europe. So I like learning about the Pacific.
Yeah.
Midway is a great Pacific movie. Hacksaw Ridge is based in the Pacific. And the show The Pacific is also based in the Pacific.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all picked up on that or not.
Yeah. Well, Coop, thank you, man. You got anything else to tell the people before we go?
No, I'm just keep drinking out the water hose, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Coop.
All right, no problem.
See ya.
See y'all.
Well, that was a chicken coop and a little bit of history.
And a little bit of history.
Yeah, so name pending. We can find something good.
Dude, we're going to come up with something spicy.
Yeah, I don't know. So name pending. But dude, great episode, dude. This was a long one.
This is definitely our longest one so far. It went
No
by
interview, too.
No interview, dude. Went by in a breeze for me.
Yeah, dude, great episode, man. I mean, I think we're closing in on 2.5 hours now, close to it. So
Yeah.
I hope everybody stayed tuned to the end. And as always, just keep on keeping on, man.
This is one of these long ones you put on while you're working or cleaning pools or doing
Yeah.
homework or whatever.
Yeah, and doing dishes or
Yeah.
whatever the hell.
If it takes you 2.5 hours to do dishes, God bless you.
Well, if you're cleaning the whole house,
Yeah.
like me, I'm a neat freak. Not at all. Not at all. So that is, I know my fiance does not listen to the podcast. That's why I ordered her a robotic vacuum that she wanted for Christmas. So,
Dude, I have a robot vacuum.
and it was $200.
I love that robot vacuum.
This thing is like a vacuum and a mop.
I'm also very nice to him because I feel like if technology takes over, that is the only thing in my house that can move on its own. So,
Not yet.
yeah.
Not
I'm
yet.
also-
The
I'm very
computer's
nice
going to
to him.
stand up. That turkey's going to start moving over there. Come back
He-
alive.
He would never.
Get all that stuffing out of them.
He would never, dude. He knows who his daddy is.
But dude, great episode, man.
Great episode. Looking forward to rolling it back next week.
It's great. Got anything else?
If you're watching on YouTube, you can also find us on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to watch the YouTube so you don't miss all my hand motions, Josh throwing the pin at me possibly snapping a clipboard. And no interview this week, but we'll be back with a good one next week.
Matt Sprouse next week. So.
Matt Sprouse from Group of Five.
Group of 5 guys. All right. See y'all.
See ya.